Let's study the complex permanent tissue phloem. Phlos means the bark. Where the phloem is present on the bark of the plant. What is a phloem? Phloem is a complex permanent tissue helps for the transport of food materials from leaves to the other parts of plant. That is what we called as the phloem. What is a phloem? Phloem is a complex permanent tissue helps for the transport of food materials from leaves to the other parts of plant. In angiosperm, the phloem is composed of four components, that is sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Means phloem is formed of different types of cells. It is a complex permanent tissue. What are the different types of cells that is present in the phloem? In case of angiosperm, it is the sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. If we consider in gymnosperms, instead of sieve tube, it has sieve cells. Instead of companion cells, it possesses albuminous cells. Say, in case of gymnosperms, it has sieve cells, albuminous cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. That's why the gymnosperms have albuminous cells and sieve cells. They lack sieve tubes and companion cells. Coming to the sieve tube elements. These are the long tube-like structure. This is the long tube-like structure arranged longitudinally, to the long axis of the plant body. Means it is parallel to the long axis of the plant body and are associated with the companion cells. What are sieve tube elements? Are the long tube-like structure arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cells. That is what we called as sieve tube. This is one sieve tube member. This is another sieve tube members. Their end walls are perforated to form the sieve plate. So here this is the end walls and this is the end walls. The end walls show perforations to form a plate that is called as sieve plate. The sieve plate has a pores that is called as sieve pores. A mature sieve tube element has peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole. Nucleus is absent. Means it is an enucleated living plant cell. Name the enucleated living plant cell, that is the sieve tube. The function of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of companion cells. Sieve tube lack the nucleus, but its function is controlled by the nucleus of companion cells. Sieve tube may be associated with the only one companion cell or many companion cells. If the death of the companion cells takes place, sieve tube also dies. So, what is a sieve tube? In simple sentence, it is an enucleated living plant cell. The functions: sieve tubes are controlled, means function of sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of companion cells. In case of phloem also, we can classify the phloem into primary phloem and secondary phloem. The phloem which is produced by the procambium, that is what we call as the primary phloem. The phloem which is produced by the vascular cambium is called secondary phloem. The primary phloem, we can identify the protophlloem and metaphlloem. Say, the primary phloem is classified into two types, that is protophlloem and metaphlloem. What is a protophlloem? First formed primary phloem consists of narrow sieve tube is called as the protophlloem. What is a metaphlloem? The later formed phloem has a bigger sieve tube that is called as the metaphlorium. Protophlorium has narrow sieve tubes that is formed first, and metaphlorium has a bigger sieve tube that is formed later in the life of plant. What is the functions of sieve tubes? Say conduction of food materials from leaves to various other parts. Companion cells. What are companion cells? These are the specialized parenchymatous cells closely associated with the sieve tube elements. Parenchyma cells associated with the sieve tube elements is called as the companion cells. The sieve tube elements connected to the companion cells by a pit fields present between the common longitudinal walls. The common longitudinal walls between the companion cells and the sieve tubes contains the pit fields through which the plasmodesmatal connection exists between the companion cells and the sieve tubes. What is the function of these companion cells? Companion cells maintain the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. Companion cells maintains the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. Phloem parenchyma. This is the phloem parenchyma. It is made up of elongated, tapering cylindrical cells which have dense cytoplasm and nucleus. Cells are elongated, tapering, cylindrical with the dense cytoplasm and nucleus. The cell wall is composed of cellulose and has a pit through which plasmodesmatal connection exists between the cell. The phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocotyledons. Say, phloem parenchyma is absent in monocots. What is the functions of phloem parenchyma? It stores the food materials and other substances like resin, latex and mucilage. So that's what the function of phloem parenchyma. Another components of the phloem, that is the phloem fibers or bast fibers. This is the dead components of phloem. The phloem has all the components that is living, that is the sieve tube elements, companion cells and phloem parenchyma are living, but the phloem fibers, it is a dead components of the phloem. As a whole, the phloem is called living tissues, whereas in case of xylem we call as a dead tissues because xylem has only one living component, that is xylem parenchyma, but the phloem is the living tissues or living complex permanent tissue. Only dead component is phloem fibers or the bast fibers. So this is the phloem fibers. These are made up of sclerenchymatous cells, nothing but a sclerenchyma fibers, generally absent in primary phloem. Say, the phloem fibers are absent in primary phloem. It is usually present in the secondary phloem. Phloem fibers are present in the secondary phloem. So these are much elongated, unbranched, have pointed ends, and cell wall is quite thick. At maturity, these fibers lose their protoplasm and become dead. Means it is a dead sclerenchyma fibers. Phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp are used commercially. Say, jute, flax and hemp are the phloem fibers, they have commercial use. Functions, they give mechanical support and protection to the soft tissues. So this is about the phloem. Tissue systems in plant. On the basis of the structure and location, there are three types of tissue systems in plants. That is, epidermal tissue system, ground or fundamental tissue system vascular or conducting tissue system. There are three types of tissue system on the basis of structure and locations. Epidermal tissue system. See the detailed aspect of epidermal tissue system. It forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body. That is what we call epidermal tissue systems. A tissue system which forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body is called epidermal tissue system. Epidermal tissue system consisting of epidermal cells, the stomata and epidermal appendages. Epidermal appendages is of two types, that is the root hairs and the trichomes. Let us study the epidermis formed of epidermal cells. Epidermis is usually single layered and made up of elongated, compactly arranged parenchyma cells with a small amount of cytoplasm and has a large vacuole. Means cells of the epidermis are living, they are having the small amount of cytoplasm and has a large vacuole. Usually cells are parenchymatous. The outer side of the epidermis is covered with the waxy thick layer called cuticle. Outer to the epidermis, in the case of stem and in the case of leaves, it is covered with a waxy layer. That waxy layer is called as cuticle. What is the function of this cuticle? It prevents the loss of water. Say this cuticle is absent in root, it is present in the stem as well as in the leaves. So that's about the epidermal cells. So the modifications of epidermis, that is, it shows a structure like stomata and the epidermal appendages. Two types of epidermal appendages is there, that is called root hairs and the trichomes. Let's study the stomata. What is a stomata? Stomata is a microscopic opening in the epidermis of the leaf. What is the function of this stomata? They regulate the transpiration and gaseous exchange. The function of the stomata is to regulate the gaseous exchange as well as the transpirations. Where the stomata is present? Stomata is present on the epidermis of leaves. The stomata is formed of two bean-shaped cells, that is called as the guard cells. What is a stomata? Stomata is nothing but the guard cells with the stomatal aperture, that is what we call as the stomata. Say this is the guard cell, two guard cell is there surrounding an aperture. So this aperture and the two guard cells together forms the stomata. The wall of the guard cells, if you consider, it is unevenly thickened. Inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin. Inner wall, the wall which faces the stomatal pore, that is thick, and the outer wall is thin. That means the guard cell is unevenly thickened. So these guard cells also contain the chloroplast. The guard cells has along with this the cellulose microfibrils, that is arranged radially. So this radially arranged cellulose microfibrils and the uneven thickening that helps in opening and closing of the stomata. The stomata or the guard cells is surrounded by the specialized epidermal cells, that is called as subsidiary cells. Say Here we have to understand what is stomata. Stomata consisting of the stomatal pore and the guard cell constitute the stomata. Stomata along with the epidermal cells constitute the stomatal complex. What is a stomatal complex? Stomatal aperture, the guard cell and the subsidiary cells together forms the stomatal apparatus. The shape of the guard cell, if you consider, it is bean shaped where in case of dicot plant, whereas it is dumbbell shaped whereas in case of monocots. The shape of the guard cell is bean shaped in dicots and in monocot it is dumbbell shaped. Say this is the stomata which is open and this is the stomata which is closed. Say what is stomatal apparatus? See, the stomatal aperture, the guard cell and the surrounding subsidiary cells together constitute the stomatal apparatus. So what is a stomata in general? Stomata is nothing but the stomatal pore and the surrounding guard cell constitute the stomata. Say this stomata means it is a modified epidermal cells. This guard cell is nothing but a modified epidermal cells. The size of this epidermal cell is smaller than the remaining epidermal cells. And another important feature is that these epidermal cells that possess the chloroplast and also possess the cellulose microfibers which are arranged radially. Another important features, the guard cell shows uneven thickening. Inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin. So that's about the stomata. Epidermal appendages. These are the outgrowths that is present on the epidermis. So it is of two types, that is called as the root hairs and the trichomes. Say this is the root hair and this is the trichomes. Root hairs are unicellular elongation of the epidermal cells. What is the function of this root hairs? They help to absorb water and minerals from the soil. The function of root hairs is absorption of water and minerals from the soil. The trichomes. So these are the epidermal hairs on the stem. What are trichomes? Trichomes are the epidermal hairs present on the stem. Usually they are multicellular. They may be branched or unbranched. They may be soft or stiff. Say, trichomes are the hairs present on the epidermis of the stem. They may be multicellular. Means mostly they are multicellular. See here, it is a multicellular structure on the epidermis of the stem. Sometimes these trichomes may be secretory also. What is the main function of the trichome? Trichome helps in preventing the water loss due to transpiration. Function of the trichome is to prevent the water loss during transpiration. Another type of tissue system, that is the ground tissue system. What is a ground tissues? All the tissues except epidermis and vascular bundle that forms the ground tissues. Except the epidermis and the vascular tissues, whatever the tissue present between the epidermis and the vascular bundle, that is what we call as the ground tissues. The ground tissues is made up of simple permanent tissues. We have already come across three types of simple permanent tissue, that is the parenchyma, this is the collenchyma and the sclerenchyma constitute the simple permanent tissues. The ground tissue is usually formed of parenchyma. In case of the cortex and usually in pericycle, pith and in medullary rays. Say this is the central part of the stem, that is the pith, this is the medullary rays and the pericyclic region, and also in the cortical part it contains the parenchyma as the ground tissues. The ground tissues in leaves is called mesophyll. Between the upper epidermis and the lower epidermis, a chlorophyll containing parenchyma cells is present that helps in photosynthesis. That is what we called as the chlorenchymatous parenchyma. The tissue, that is what we called as the mesophyll. What is a mesophyll? Mesophyll is a photosynthetic parenchyma cells present between the upper and lower epidermis of the leaf. The vascular tissue systems. The vascular tissue system is nothing but it consisting of the complex permanent tissues, that is the xylem and phloem. Together we called as vascular tissues. The xylem and the phloem together constitute an vascular bundle. So this vascular bundle is classified into two types on the basis of presence or absence of cambium. What is a vascular bundle? Vascular bundle is nothing but the xylem and phloem occurs together, that forms a vascular bundle. So this vascular bundle is classified into two types based on the presence or absence of cambium. What are the two types of vascular bundle on the basis of presence or absence of cambium? That is open vascular bundle and closed vascular bundle. If cambium is present, this is the closed vascular bundle, this is the xylem, this is the phloem. Between the xylem and phloem, cambium is absent, then it is called as closed vascular bundle. It is seen in case of monocots. In monocots, the vascular bundle is closed. What is open vascular bundle? A vascular bundle in which between the xylem and phloem a meristematic strip, that is cambium, is present, that is called as open vascular bundle. So this open vascular bundle is present in the stem of the dicot. If you consider the leaves of dicot, they contain closed vascular bundle. The stem of the dicot has open vascular bundle. So these are the two types of vascular bundle based on the presence or absence of cambium. Based on the arrangement of xylem and phloem, vascular bundles are classified into two types. Say, based on the arrangement of xylem and phloem, vascular bundles are two types. That is called radial vascular bundle and conjoint vascular bundle. What is a radial vascular bundle? See here, this is the xylem patches alternate with the phloem patches in two different radii. That is what we call radial vascular bundle. Xylem and phloem occur separately and they are alternate with each other in two different radii. That is what we called as the radial vascular bundle. Seen in case of roots, both dicot root and monocot root shows the radial vascular bundle. What is conjoint vascular bundle? The conjoint vascular bundle means the xylem and phloem situated at the same radius of the vascular bundles. If xylem and phloem occurs in the same bundle, then it is called the conjoint type of vascular bundle. So this conjoint type of vascular bundle is already classified into two types. Say conjoint closed vascular bundle, between the phloem and the xylem cambium is absent, then it is called conjoint closed vascular bundle. seen in case of monocots and the leaves. Conjoined open vascular bundle between the phloem and the xylem, a strip of cambium is present, that is called conjoined open vascular bundles. The conjoined vascular bundles usually have the phloem located only on the outer side, xylem on the inner side. That is what we called as collateral. See, the vascular bundle is described here, it is as conjoined collateral. Conjoined means xylem and phloem occurs together in the same radius, that is what we call conjoined. What is collateral vascular bundle? Phloem located outside the xylem, that is what we call collateral. Let's study the anatomy of dicotyledonous root. The transverse section of sunflower root shows the internal tissue organization as follows. It consisting of outermost epidermis, then the cortex, endodermis and the stele. Epidermis is also called as an epiblema. This is the outermost layer, compactly arranged parenchyma cells without any intercellular spaces. Many epidermal cells produces the unicellular projections, that is what we called as the root hairs. Below the epidermis consists of several layers of thin-walled parenchyma cells with intercellular spaces, that is what we called as the cortex. Below the epidermis consisting of thin-walled parenchyma cells with intercellular spaces, that forms the cortex. Innermost layer of the cortex, that is what we called as the endodermis. This is the endodermis. This is the epidermis, that is called as epiblema, or also referred as pyliferous layer. Say, epiblema is also referred as pyliferous layer. After the epiblema, the cortex, the innermost layer of the cortex, that is the endodermis. Endodermis is formed of compactly arranged barrel-shaped cells without intercellular spaces. Here the radial wall, this is the radial wall and this is the tangential wall. Radial wall as well as the tangential wall of the endodermal cells have the deposition of water impermeable waxy material, that is what we called as the suberin. Water impermeable waxy material that is deposited on the radial as well as tangential wall of the endodermis. So that is what we called as the Casparian strips. Means endodermal cells possess the Casparian strips. Some of the epidermal cells which are opposite to the protoxylem does not have the Casparian strips, that is what we called as the passage cells. Say, what are passage cells? Passage cells are the cells where there is no suberin deposition. Next is the innermost part of the plant, that is the stele. What is in stele? All the tissues on the inner side of the endodermis constitute the stele. Whatever the tissues that is present inside the endodermis, that is what we referred as the stele. The stele includes the pericycle, the pith, conjunctive tissues and the vascular bundles. What the stele contains? The stele contains pericycle, the pith, conjunctive tissues and the vascular tissues. Pericycle, it is formed of the parenchyma cells. It is present below the endodermis. This pericycle cells helps in the formation of vascular cambium during the secondary growth. During the secondary growth, these pericyclic cells dedifferentiated to form the meristematic cells from which it produces the secondary cambium. That is responsible for secondary growth of the dicot root. And from this pericyclic layer, the lateral roots also arises. From which layer the lateral roots arises? That is from the pericyclic layer. Pith. What is a pith? Innermost region of the stele is called as the pith. The pith is absent mostly in dicot root, or if it is present, it is very small or inconspicuous. The pith is not well pronounced, where in case of the dicot root. The conjunctive tissues. What is the conjunctive tissues? These are the parenchyma cells which lie between the xylem and the phloem. So this is the xylem patches, 4 patches xylem you can recognize. Here is the phloem. Between the xylem and phloem, whatever the parenchyma cells present, that constitute the conjunctive tissues. Then the vascular bundles. The vascular bundles has the xylem and the phloem patches. Xylem patches alternate with the phloem patches in 2 different radii. Hence the vascular bundle is a radial vascular bundles. And usually 2 to 4 xylem patches alternate with the phloem patches. Means xylem is usually having 4 xylem patches which alternate with the 4 phloem patches. That is usually tetrarch condition is there in case of the vascular bundles. The cambium ring develops during the secondary growth. How this cambium ring develops during the secondary growth? Above the protoxylem and below the phloem, the pericyclic cell is present that produces the secondary cambium. So that cambium is responsible for increase in the girth of the root. That is what we call secondary growth of the root. So that's about the anatomy of the dicot root. Anatomy of monocotyledon's root. The anatomy of monocotyledon's root is similar to that of dicot in many aspects. So it has an epidermis. Epidermis is formed of single layered parenchyma cells with the unicellular root hairs. This means some of the epidermal cells are modified into unicellular root hairs. Below the epidermis, the cortex is present. The cortex is formed of parenchyma cells with the intercellular spaces. The innermost layer of the cortex, that is the endodermis. The endodermis is formed of compactly arranged barrel-shaped cells without any intercellular spaces. The cell wall of this endodermis shows the Casparian stripes. Inner to the endodermis, the parenchymatous layer is present, that is the pericycle. At the center, parenchymatous pith is present. The xylem patches here, it is more than 6. In case of dicot, it is 2 to 4, whereas in case of the monocot, it is more than 6. More than 6 xylem patches is there, that is called the polyarch conditions. If you consider the pith is well developed. In case of dicot, the pith is absent or it is very small. This monocot root do not undergo any secondary growth. Say what the differences, if you notice, between the monocotyledon's root and dicotyledon's root. In monocotyledon's root, the pith is well developed and there are usually more than 6 xylem bundles in the monocot, that is what we call polyarch conditions. Whereas in case of dicot, it is 2 to 4. So that's about the anatomy of monocotyledon's root.